Commandos! On a mountaintop high above a large city stands the headquarters of a man devoted to the cause of freedom and justice. A war hero who has never stopped fighting against his country's enemies. A private citizen who is dedicating his life to the struggle against evil men everywhere. Jet Jackson.
Hi, Ted.
Hi. How was the flight?
Glad to report mission completed.
You have visitors.
Professor Berglund. Sir, this is an honor.
Forgive this unannounced visit, but I prefer that no one know that I am here.
Oh?
I have much to explain.
Well, can it wait until you've introduced me?
Oh, forgive me, my dear. This is my ward, Lisa.
How do you do?
Her father was a great scientist and an old friend. We worked in the old country together. She's not only like a daughter to me, but she's my assistant.
He's got an assistant, too, but not as pretty as yours.
This is Mr. Ichabod Mudd, better known as Icky.
Hello, Ricky.
That's Mud with 2 D's.
Jet Jackson, I need your help in the greatest scientific investigation of my life.
I'll be proud to do everything I can, sir, and so will Tut.
Yes, of course. What's the nature of this experiment?
A defense against the most terrible danger that's ever threatened our civilization.
The most terrible danger. You mean the cobalt bomb?
More terrible than that. The RD bomb.
RD. Radioactive dust.
Dust which, from one bomb, will spread over a whole continent and make everyone it touches sicken and die within a few days.
You have found a way to combat this threat?
I'll show you what I have found. Come. In your absence, Tut gave me permission to move my equipment in here.
I'm glad that he did, sir. But what is this machine?
An electric cabinet of my design. My defense against radioactive dust is based on the repellent power of an electrostatic charge taken into the human body.
Into the human body?
In fact, I've tried it so often that I can take a far heavier charge than the average person would need.
Well, the electric charge repels the radioactive dust. Is that it?
Yes. I will demonstrate. Would you step in here, please?
I'll be glad to. Are you kidding? Not me.
I wouldn't mind trying it, sir.
Good. I can control the demonstration much better from the outside.
Hey, you're not going to let him fry you in that thing, are you?
I have complete confidence in Professor Berglund.
Remember, he hasn't built up your immunity.
Well, I'm taking that into account. Lisa, the dust, please, for the demonstration.
Yes, Uncle Carl.
That is a very light charge, but I think it'll be sufficient to show the progress I've made.
You feeling all right?
Of course.
Hold out your hand. Now, Lisa, the dust. This is almost as fine as radioactive dust. You note the effect? You see how it's repelled by the electric charge?
Oh, what do you know? It works.
Amazing. But unfortunately, only for a minute or two. You see, already it's beginning to lose its effectiveness.
If the human body could only retain that immunity.
Well, it's my theory that by taking certain combinations of chemicals internally, that the charge will remain in the body for at least a year. I have tried hundreds, but without success.
But there are thousands of possible combinations of chemicals.
Yes, and I'm going to keep trying until I find the right one. I'd appreciate it if you would allow Lisa and me to work here in your laboratory.
We'd be happy to have you, sir.
That's kind of you. You see, I have to work where I can have complete privacy and safety.
Well, this is about as safe a place as you could find. We're guarded by television cameras during the day and photoelectric cells at night. Anyone approaching the building cuts an invisible electric beam and sets off an alarm. This is the master switch. We turn it on at night, and in the daytime, too, if necessary.
But this is all dependent on electricity if there should be a power failure.
We have our own emergency generators.
Oh, that sounds splendid. The whole thing. Don't you think so, Lisa?
What? Oh, yes. Yes, the very place we've been looking for.
And now I must get to work. We must never forget we are working against time.
Lisa, I'm getting worried about Professor Berglund. He's driving himself beyond human endurance.
He always works at this pace.
This repeated subjecting himself to higher and higher voltages of electricity. Who knows what effect they may have? What worries me most is possible danger to the brain cells. Have you noticed any effect, like lapse of memory?
Now that you mentioned it, yes. But he's always been a little absent-minded.
Well, there's constant fear of being spied on by people who will steal his secret when he finds it. That he's working against time and certain enemies.
A simple persecution complex. He suffered from it for years.
It's after 1. I think I'll turn in.
Oh, me too. I've had it.
Same here.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. How about calling it a day, Professor?
You turn in if you like. I'm staying up for a while.
But you need the rest, sir.
Rest, rest. Our enemies aren't resting. I'd appreciate it if you'd go to bed and let me work.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. This time.
Look, I'm doing the best I can, and stop giving me orders. I can't talk anymore.
What's the matter with the electricity? The toaster won't work.
Nothing works, including our electronic defenses.
The power's off all over the house.
Something shorted it. Right here. Look at this switch.
Professor Berglund is gone. His room is empty.
Gone? You mean kidnapped?
Well, I don't know, but his bed hasn't been slept in.
I'll notify the police.
Oh, please don't. This might only be another of his lapses of memory.
Nicky, get the car. We'll go look for him.
Roger.
Tut, check the fuse box. Stand by for a call.
Right.
Now, try not to worry, Lisa. We'll find him.
Well, have you got the formula?
Professor Berglund has disappeared.
Disappeared.
When I went into his room this morning, he was gone.
On the verge of his greatest discovery. Very odd, to say the least. If I thought for a moment you were deceiving me,
I am not trying to deceive you. I am as anxious as you are to get this secret for our high command.
well, we must get it. When the attack on this country comes, there must be no defense.
I hope the high command gives us time to get out first. Radioactive dust isn't going to ask which party we belong to.
What I want to know is where's Berglund?
You must have some idea. You know him better than anyone else.
Years ago, he carried out some experiments on a farm near the outskirts of the city. I have no reason to believe that he'd go there now. But his mind is upset. Might play strange tricks.
It is worth investigating. Can you take us to it?
I think so.
Then let us waste no more time.
We've been up and down so many streets and looked at so many faces, I've almost forgotten what the professor looks like.
I'm afraid something's happened to him. I'd better alert the secret squadron. Attention all local members of the secret squadron. Attention all local members of the secret squadron. Be on the lookout for the famous scientist, Professor Carl Berglund. Dark hair, slightly gray, about 6 feet tall, weight about 190 pounds. If you see him, contact headquarters at once. Repeat, if you have any clue to the whereabouts of Professor Carl Berglund, call at once. This is Jet Jackson, signing off. Out.
Calling Secret Squadron Headquarters. Calling Secret Squadron Headquarters. This is SQ-619. Calling Headquarters. Over.
This is SQ-3 at headquarters. Come in, 619. Over.
There's a man in front of our house, near the barn. He walked right through a barbed wire fence. There's a big flash, just like lightning. It might be the man SQ-1 told us to watch out for.
That certainly could be Professor Berglund. Where are you, 619? Over.
On the Marshall farm, just past Maple Grove. Over.
Good work, 619. I'll report it to SQ-1 immediately. Out.
Burned through. He must be around here somewhere. Come on, Icky.
Did you say come on?
Yeah, come on.
Let's wait out here till he comes out in the morning, huh?
What's the matter?
The guy's on fire.
And?
And my mother told me never to play with fire, especially at night.
Icky, Professor Berglund's a sick man. I've got to try and help him. You can stay here if you want to. Professor Berglund, it's me, Jet Jackson. You must come with me. You understand? Back to the laboratory where we can discharge the electricity in you.
Let's get Berglund.
Hold it. I don't know who you are, but I warn you not to touch that man.
Who asked you?
Hold him, Mickey.
Jet Jackson.
Let's get him.
Hey, you all right? Are you all right? You okay?
Where did he go?
Who? The professor? I don't know. Hey, look.
What happened to them?
I don't know.
They're burned, electrocuted. I told them not to touch him. I can't believe it. Let's go, Iggy.
Where?
Notify the police. Professor Berglund must be found. No one within his reach is safe. Come on.
Get off the street. Stay inside your homes. For your own safety, get off the streets. An electrified man is at large. If you touch him, you will die. Get off the streets.
This city is a strange place tonight. Its sidewalks deserted. Most of its citizens cowering indoors in terror as police cars cruise the empty streets, searching for Professor Carl Berglund. This great scientist, whose discoveries have meant so much to the world, is now an electrified man, victim of his own daring experiment. All day the search is continued, and tonight the warning goes out to the entire city. Keep to your homes, for somewhere, possibly on your own street, walks a man whose very touch spells death.
I just gotta get some sleep. We've been up most all night.
I'll drop you off at headquarters and continue the search with Tut. Any news?
There isn't a thing come in yet.
I'm sorry.
He was like a father to me. We've been together so long.
How long was he your guardian?
Ever since my father died. I was 15. I guess I'd better go to bed. Perhaps by morning.
Yes, let's hope so. Oh, Lisa, just a moment. You wouldn't have any idea where Professor Berglund might be.
No. No, I'm afraid not.
You didn't see him in the country tonight.
I don't know what you mean. I wasn't in the country.
Weren't you?
No. Why do you look at me like that? Don't you believe me?
No, I don't believe you. You did see Professor Berglund. You were with two men, weren't you? You brought them, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
To kidnap the man who'd been like a father to you. You betrayed him.
You can't prove it.
Oh, yes, I can. Look at your shoes. That's lime, the same lime that's on my shoes and on Icky's.
I don't know what you're trying to say. I don't know where the lime came from.
That came from the Marshall farm near Maple Road where Professor Berglund was hiding. Where is he now?
I don't know.
What have you done with him?
Nothing. I wouldn't dare touch him. I saw what happened.
So you admit you were there. Where is he now? It's the alarm, the electric beam.
It's Professor Berglund.
He's at the front door now. He's coming in.
He short-circuited the power. Quick, into the lab.
He's in the study.
Professor Berglund, listen to me. There's a chance we can save you.
He can't hear you, you fool. He can't understand.
Lisa.
Icky, there's an extra circuit breaker in the hall. Get these lights on, quick.
Lisa.
Chuck, Lisa, stay behind me. We've got to get him into that cabin and reverse the current.
That's it. It might drain the electrical current from his body.
Lisa.
Here she is, Professor. Right here. Just a little bit further. That's right. Quick and tough, reverse the current. Turn it off, Cut.
You were right. The experiment failed. It was more than a human body can stand. Keep trying to find answer. Keep.
Oh, Uncle Carl.
Lisa, won't you tell us all about it? For his sake.
Ah, she sure was a pretty girl, that Lisa.
Yeah, too bad she had to end up in prison.
Criminals have to pay society's price, pretty or not.
I guess you're right. So how long are we going to work on this project?
Until we or someone else find a defense against radioactive dust. Professor Berglund was on the right track. We just might be lucky enough to complete his work.
Berglund's theory of ionization of the skin is being discussed in scientific circles. It might yet prove to be the answer to radioactive dust.
You mean we're going to monkey around with more electricity?
What's the matter, Icky? You afraid of electricity?
Me afraid? No, I'm not afraid of it. It's just that I got a new way of getting rid of radioactive dust.
Yeah? How?
With a vacuum cleaner.
This has been a film presentation.